Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Monday Morning. It's Stephen Whiteside here from the uptrend.com. In the pre-market, things are very quiet out there this morning. Stock index futures are slightly below fair value. No major economic numbers coming out until at least Wednesday, where we get the Fed minutes from the last meeting. And Thursday, we get jobless claims. And on Friday, Chairman Powell speaks. And of course, everybody's going to be listening to see if they get any indication whether he's going to be cutting rates in September. Personally, I don't think he's going to be cutting rates because one of the major jobs of the Fed is to fight inflation, and inflation is about to start to explode. So, really don't think he's going to reduce interest rates, but the market thinks he is, and that's what we have to live with at the moment. Now, the VIX is still on a sell signal for the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, and the Russell 2000. If any of those change on Monday, that of course could indicate the market is starting to change direction, and we would expect some selling. Looking at the major index ETFs, starting off with the iShares for the TSX 60, haven't gone anywhere since we tapped the 4219 level, and hopefully you locked in some profits there. We're trying to get to 4375, but we haven't dealt with 4219 just yet. The big winner on Friday was Kinross. The big loser was Enbridge after making a new high on Thursday and closing at the high of the day, but things shuffled around on Friday and we're back below the 50, the 65, 63 level. So still on a buy signal here. Things would change on Monday if Enbridge closed below $64.18. Looking at the Vanguard Canada ETF, we have not hit 57.81 yet, and we're just treading water at the moment. The big winner on Friday was Bosch, up nearly 11%. So congratulations if you were long Bosch on Friday. Then what didn't work? Well, Bird Construction, which came down hard on Thursday, saw a fall through to the downside on Friday. Now, when you look at the panic zone chart for Bird, the easy money was made off the bottom of the panic zones when the pressure zone was formed. Up here at the top of the panic zones, this continuation trade is always very high risk. And, you don't want to be putting new money in up at that level. If you want to continue with the trade you had, you can certainly give it a try, but you are taking on an enormous amount of risk at that time. Looking at the Dow Diamonds, just a small gain on Friday, 0.08%. It is trying to get to $453.13. We got as high as $452.05 on Friday. Of course, we have higher targets on the weekly chart, but this is the top of the projected trading range for the daily chart. I just wanted to say a quick word about, how much a stock is priced at. A $449 stock is the same as a $4.49 stock. We're going to put $1,000 or $10,000 or $100,000 into a stock. All we care about is the percentage move, not the dollar move. And so when you're comparing one symbol to the other, that's what you have to take into consideration, not the actual price of the stock. A $4 stock, of course, has much higher risk than a $400 stock. In your mind, in a lot of people's mind, a $4 stock could go to $10. That's a dramatic move. There's no way the Dow Diamonds is going to go from $449 to $1,000. That is true. But the chance of a $4 stock going to zero is dramatically higher than the Dow Diamonds going to zero. In fact, there's, 99.9% possibility that that will never happen to the Dow Diamonds, but it's certainly possible to happen to a $4 stock. So when you're comparing stocks, remember it's the percentage moves we're looking at, not the dollar amount. Now, what worked on Friday on the Dow was United Healthcare, which popped. It was already on a buy signal. Our next price target from Thursday's chart was 312.50. So on Friday, we almost hit it, less than $2 away from the 312.50 level. If you want to lock in some profits, take a little money off the table there, that would probably be a good idea. We are coming up to intersect with the flypaper channel. So, we're getting pretty close to the end of this particular move for United Health. What didn't work on Friday was Cisco, down nearly 4.5% on the day. So it is certainly back on a sell signal. Looking at the S&P 500, we're just treading water here, trying to get to 650, 625. Now, what worked on Friday was First Solar up over 11% on the day, but notice the pattern that we have here. A sell signal, and then the next day it opens higher. A sell signal, next day it opens higher. A sell signal on Thursday, next day it opens higher. It's important to check what's happening in the pre-market, and in a lot of cases, you want to sit on your hands and wait for the next close below the lower channel line before selling. We took so long to get into a stock. We want to take as much time as possible to get out of a stock. And unless you see fall through to the downside the next day, it's often a good idea to just sit on your hands and wait and see what unfolds next. What didn't work was Applied Materials, and there's a lot of stocks that have been gapping sharply lower over the past couple of weeks. Looking at the NASDAQ 100, here we are treading water last week. We're trying to get to 593.75. What worked was PDD Holdings. It was up on the day. We're trying to get above 118.75. We closed at 118.95. You can see that we traded above this level back in May and back in June, where we've traded above the level, but we were not able to break away from it. So if we can take out the recent highs, and both the high from June and the high from May are potential targets, 125 would be our next target to the upside. What didn't work? Well, KLA is back on a sell signal as of Friday's close after making a new high on Thursday. Last up, let's look at the world of commodities, and crude oil was down $1.05 on Friday. It's down a little bit in the pre-market this morning, while natural gas started to move up, and the natural gas ETFs also moved up, and I would certainly take a buy signal in natural gas at this time if one showed up this week. Copper just treading water here. Gold, second day of a sell signal. Gold's up slightly in the pre-market last time I checked. Platinum still on a sell signal here. Things would change on Monday with a close above $1,372.50. And the price of silver bounced off the lower channel line on Friday. A close below 37.64 would give us a sell signal on Monday. Okay, folks, that is all for this morning's presentation. So far, it looks like we're going to have a very quiet open on Monday morning. Have a great day. Next time, you'll hear my voices on Tuesday morning, and at that time, we'll walk through the most actively traded stocks from Monday's trading action.
Thanks for tuning in until the very end of today's stock market timing educational video. If you found the content valuable, don't forget to express your support by hitting the like button, leave a comment, sharing with your friends, and subscribing to our channel for more insightful updates. Remember, in the world of stocks, timing is crucial, and following the trend can be your greatest ally. If you would like more information on how we can help you better time the stock market, please visit theyuptrend.com.